its staff, management, or sponsors. AMP2.tv presents Tell Us Your Business, where you're invited on the air to tell us what makes your business stand out in the community. It's important we hear from you to tell us all we need to know about what you do best. Tell Us Your Business uses the latest radio and television production systems, and all shows can be seen on AMP2.tv. If you have a question for our guest, call 888-565-1470. Now, let's get ready as our guest hits the airways and informs us about what we need to know on Tell Us Your Business.
Right. Hello, my name is Maureen Shea, and I am live. We are here on Tell Us Your Biz. I am here with the amazing Khalila Ali, and we have a little bit in common. I'm a two-time world champion boxer, and Khalila has quite a history in boxing, and not just in boxing, but just in life.
Yeah.
You can just, you have so much that you can share, and you're amazing. Look at her. Look at how we were just talking about so many different things, and I know I'm not going to go talk about people's ages, but you would not believe how old she is.
72.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. Her skin, her eyes, she's so amazing.
Make that 27. It's
yeah.
But you know what? I've done so much in my lifetime. I do know a little bit about boxing.
Just a little bit. Mm-hmm. Well, we met what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, that's right.
About
2
almost 2 years ago.
Right.
You know, and so we did a show. Well, I was on your show, and we talked a little bit about my career. Yeah. But I'm so honored
I've never
and happy
seen
to be here.
such a beautiful female boxer. How do you do it?
Oh, thank you. A lot of head movement.
How do you? The nose, the ears.
Oh no, the nose has been broken five times.
But you're so beautiful.
Thank you. But I really feel. Thank you. I really feel like it's my soul.
You got so many beautiful women boxers.
There's so many. There are now.
Today, look at Layla. She don't look like she's never got in a ring in her life.
Yeah.
You know?
It was such an interesting turn of events or time when I first started, where females weren't really recognized, and Christy Martin was known, Lucia Riker, Layla, there's very few, and so for me, I never really, they weren't accessible. Yeah. So I think it's amazing how women's boxing has evolved to the point now where we have social media, and now people can reach out to women like myself, like Layla, and they can actually feel connected.
Well, see, you and Layla are exceptional because you guys are gorgeous, drop-dead gorgeous girls going into box. I mean, it's just. I'm a karate girl. I strictly do karate. So
when did you start doing karate?
I did karate when I was a little girl, and I got my black belt at a young age. So I just always thought it would be easier for a female to work with martial arts because you don't have to have brute force to hurt anybody or put somebody down.
The technique. It was
the technique.
But for me, I was a troubled youth, and I had a lot of I just call it misplaced rage.
Yeah.
And and I needed some place to release that. So did you feel at that age when you first started, was there anything going on inside that led you to that? Some anger or anything?
No.
Really?
Matter of fact, it was just the opposite. It was just but when I learned how to knock somebody out so easily, that gave me a thrill.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it was wow. And so you don't have to use a lot of brute force. That's why I thought, for women, it would be more practical to use martial arts because she don't have to use brute force. She can use the weight of the other opponent in her favor. That's what technically it would just be more, easier.
It's almost like counterpunching in boxing.
Yeah.
It's almost like somebody's
but
coming in.
later on in life, as I got older and I get frustrated about something, I can just do some exercise.
Oh, you feel
and
it.
then I would let it out.
It's definitely an emotional release.
Yeah, it's emotional. Later on, I can
use
use it for emotional release. But to start out with it, I didn't have that. Yeah.
That's interesting. It's it's what
that
I
was
love.
just the opposite for me.
What I tell a lot of people, they always ask, I'm like, whenever you ask a female boxer or a female combat athlete, whether it's MMA, I feel like we always have such interesting stories. Men are usually kind of similar, like with boxing. Oh, my father made me box, or I used to slap box with my brothers, or it was just expected almost. But with women, I feel like the boxing, especially because it came later on. MMA came mixed martial arts, different backgrounds. I mean, all these things were in the Olympics. Like you had judo for women in the Olympics. You
Yes,
had
you have judo,
jiu-jitsu. You didn't have boxing until 2012 was introduced to the Olympics, and I was already a pro. I already had, I don't know, a lot of pro fights.
But you know
already, so-
what? I think the fact that Muhammad Ali,
Mm-hmm.
by him being so pretty, and he attracted a lot of women
Mm-hmm.
to look at boxing because
Oh, yeah,
he was
I agree.
so comical and so pretty, and he attracted a lot of
He was a charmer,
women.
too. He was
yeah,
a
he was a
charmer.
charmer,
Yeah, Mm-hmm.
and it brought more women to the ring back in those years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it just gravitated more women to look at boxing,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it started a lot of women that wanted
That's
to
an
be
interesting. That's an
interested.
interesting point. Like I never thought of it like that.
Well, I did.
That
'cause
makes
I saw
sense.
it.
Yeah,
I
well, you
saw
were there.
the
You
women
witnessed it.
gravitated.
Of course,
Yeah, I saw
of
it.
course. There was a charisma about
There
him,
was
an
a
energy,
charisma
and he's a
about it.
Capricorn, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
So am I.
He was. Yeah. Is that right?
Yes. January
Really?
11th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh,
we're definitely feisty.
definitely feisty. Yes,
Hard workers.
yeah. But you know what?
Little stubborn. Mm-hmm.
Men had to prove themselves back in those days, and it was better than picking up a gun. And I thought that was very gallant of them.
That's interesting. Yeah.
There was more gallant. It was, if you wanted to do something and prove yourself, get out in the ring and fight it out. That was courage and gallant of a man to do that. I think that's why John L. Sullivan with the bare knuckle fighting, he taught a lot of people fighting with the bare knuckle. And then, did you not know? I'm sure you have. Bare knuckle is coming back.
Oh yeah, of course. I know David Feldman
Oh,
very
why
well.
would
I
somebody
know.
wanna do that?
Listen, I saw when we were at the. I was at the
bloody.
fights. I saw you at
the
at
bare
the BYB Extreme. And Mike Vasquez, they just had a show this past weekend. I was at and Bare Knuckle had one in Tampa. I was at the one in Miami. It was interesting. David
They don't
Feldman.
give you no room. It's like a
It's
little
toe the line.
triangle.
It's
a
toe
little
the line.
triangle.
Yep.
It is bloody.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah. It's pretty brutal. If
goodness.
you've never seen bare knuckle fighting, it's
bloody.
it's really funny because David Feldman had approached me a couple years ago because I know David from boxing, and David's father was a trainer. He was a boxer, professional boxer. He grew up in Pennsylvania, and David's got an incredible story. He's a cancer survivor. He's
Yeah.
just done a lot.
Did you meet Dada?
Of course, I know Dada.
Isn't
Yeah.
Dada is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
He promotes a lot of fights, and
Yep.
I go to all of them now.
Like I commentated with his brothers, the twin brothers.
yeah, the twin
I
brothers.
I commentated with them one of their earlier shows. It was before COVID, pre-COVID. I did a show there, and they had me commentate. We had a great time. I mean, it was like during COVID, but we had a great time.
Yeah, I went to
I loved it.
UFC, and I went to MMA, and now bare knuckle. Oh my goodness, can it get any worse than that?
Well, you see, they have a lot of women that are going to the bare knuckle,
I've
and they're
seen-
beautiful
I've seen
women.
Women do bare knuckle
And
fighting. Gosh,
It's I saw this one girl, Britton Hart, and she was a boxer. She had a few boxing matches, and I remember going to her fight. And I used to manage a bare knuckle fighter, one of the guys that fights for BKFC. But I went to it was his fight, and I saw her, and I was just. It takes a very special woman, and people look like
it's a crazy woman to do that.
I try to keep it the word special, but yes, it's a little
It's just not
definitely.
special. It's crazy.
But she fights with such. I mean, it's in her. You know what I mean? Like it's just like when people would ask me about boxing. Why do I box? Like people think that it's crazy. There's people that think that boxing's crazy. But I look
Yeah,
at, I'm
that's
like,
true.
but there's something inside of her, and I ask her, and I'm like, and I would love to have her on because she must have. I mean, her energy too, and she's in it. Like she loves it. And this girl, she fought Paige Van Zandt. She beat Paige Van Zandt. She's always a smaller girl. She's like 118
Well,
pounds.
smaller people have more to prove. You have to be careful
Oh, yeah.
with them because even me as a karate person,
Yep.
when a small person get in it, they are
Yep.
awesome.
That makes sense. Yeah.
When it's me to fight a smaller person, that they're the most difficult people to fight.
Yeah.
They are I'd rather fight a bigger person than a smaller person.
It's true. And I didn't think of that with Britain, but she's fought all the bigger girls.
Yeah.
And she just fought another girl. I mean, she just fought
I
for
like
the
big people.
title.
I like fighting big people.
big-
Little people don't
You
want
want
to
to hear a funny story? I
Go ahead.
fought a girl that was 170 pounds in Mexico. I was 130. I weighed in at 132 with my clothes on a scale.
You see,
and
that's okay.
People like, how is that fair? I'm like, well, it's Mexico. So
First of all,
I
it's
literally, she was
Mexico.
supposed to weigh in like at I think like 138, maybe 140. So I weighed in with my clothes on, thinking I was gonna be a little bit heavier. And then all of a sudden, I'm looking for my opponent. This girl comes walking in. I'm like, I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm tripping, but I don't think she weighs 140 pounds. So she gets on the scale and it's in kilos. So my coach is there looking at her weight and he's calculating it and he just looked at me and I just remember it was 171 pounds. And I looked at him and they called me over to the commission. The commission's like, listen, like, and there it's different than here. You have to be within 8 pounds. Or it's got to be contractually agreed upon that you're going to fight each other. So when I went over, he's like, listen, we've never seen her fight. She's got fights. You don't have to take this fight. I said, no, I came to fight. I came to Tijuana. I'm fighting, you know? And I went through a whole camp, and I was like, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And he was like, but then he asked me, so he goes, do you want to use 10-ounce gloves or 8-ounce gloves? So for those of you that don't know.
The biggest gloves ever.
Well, that's what, yeah. Well, for those of you that don't know, when you weigh under 147 pounds, you fight in 8-ounce gloves. And then anybody above fights in 10-ounce gloves.
Right.
So they asked me, I said, well, put 10s on her and 8s on me. And they looked at me like, oh, we can't do that. I'm like, oh, but she's like how many pounds heavier than me? So I was like, okay, we'll settle on 10s because I've never been hit by a girl that big. I wasn't planning on getting hit, but just in case. So we went in. It was supposed to be a 6-rounder. I mean, listen, this was adapted.
It didn't even go 6.
No. It was. They turned into a 4-rounder. If it was a 6-rounder, I would have stopped her. But it ended up being a 4-rounder. She tried to knock me out the first 2 rounds, and then after that, I was walking her down. But I was just like, yeah. But I remember going to the body, and this was in a.
I wouldn't have let it go. I'd just taken it in 2 and got out.
Yeah, I know. No, it was. She was coming at me, and I was like, all right, I have to be smart. She's gonna tire out. But I was ranked at light heavyweight. They ranked me on BoxRec. It was like I think if you look at my BoxRec and you look at my record and you look at like the events, one of the girls, I forgot her name, but I was ranked. People couldn't believe it. I was like, yeah, you find me another female that's done that. I've done a lot of. You've done a lot of firsts. I've done a lot of firsts too.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the energy is. Like
That's
we
where
don't
the
care.
energy is at. We don't
That's why
care.
we have a
We
great.
don't.
Yeah. We're just like, listen. What do I got to do?
You have,
This is how it's gonna
my
be?
motto. They don't like me when I actually fight another contender because I do a lot of training. I have this method of just training and sweating when I train. When I get in a ring, it's only 3 things that I do:
Okay.
look, hit. That's it.
That's it.
I'm not going to give you a show.
Oh, that's it.
I'm not
You get paid for 1 round the same as you get paid for 10. That's what we always say.
Exactly.
That's it. It's
I
like,
don't.
listen.
I don't wait to get tired.
Yeah.
I did all the training. I'm done. I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
in. I get out.
That's
I'm
it.
done.
That's
they
it.
said, "Well, she's not gonna give us any." Nah, I'm not. I'm not. I'm look it, and that's gonna be it.
Oh, I love it. I
Look
love
it, and that's it. That's my motto.
Yep.
So I'm not gonna be any fun.
So you're not gonna be fan friendly. No. Then they give her a microphone and forget it.
That's
Then
why
that's
I
it.
didn't really go for really competition. I actually fought for just the challenge and get out. I didn't really want a lot of people to know about what I do or how I do it. I wanted to really stay in the background. That's why I never brought my challenges up publicly. I wanted to keep my art kind of a quiet hush hush.
But now being married to Muhammad Ali and
I
having.
didn't want him to know it either.
Oh, really?
I didn't. I tried to keep it as quiet as possible, and I went up to Dillman's. When we went up to the camp, I found a dojo to work out at, and this guy was named George Dillman Karate Dojo, and I went up there. I said I would have prefer if I can work out at your dojo, would you keep it quiet? If I would prefer you not to let my husband know I'm working out here because I want to keep it, under the radar. I don't want him to really know.
Why though? Was it for you, or you just
it was
wanted
just
him?
for me. I didn't want Ali to really know about my karate experience because he's.
Do you think there was a little ego and there was a little?
No, I think there's a little ego, and he's a challenger, and he'll try to challenge me, and I know that.
He's a competitor.
I want to keep it private for me, just to
Good for you.
exercise,
Yeah.
because I was a security guard for different reasons for the leader and everything, and I just wanted to keep it on the down low.
Yeah.
So this. So this guy wants to meet Muhammad. He comes up at the camp and he goes, "Blah, your wife came to my camp."
Oh,
and I
no.
go, he says, "She what?" And she works out. She's a black belt. She knocked my my black belt out. She got I don't know what kind of black belt. She won't tell me. And she what? and I said, "Oh," she said, He's
crazy.
He's crazy. He
Take
just
his
wanna meet
meds.
you. He's saying all this stuff, and he said, He what? You
Oh, my
did what?
gosh.
I said, don't listen to this guy. He don't know what he's talking about. I couldn't believe that guy did that.
Oh,
He
that's
just
crazy.
spilled my stuff all over the place.
Yeah.
And I just tried to. Ali kept at me. He said he wouldn't have said that if you. I said this. They just
Don't worry
wanna
about
meet
it.
You.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
I'm sure
just-
he got a lot of that too. So. Yeah.
So this is what happened. So we was living in Cherryola at the time, and Ali went to New York, and this is in my book. So he comes home one night at 3:00 in the morning, and when I get up to go get water, I don't turn my lights on or anything. I always go in the dark. It's just a security thing. I just don't let people know I'm up. And there was this long hallway in my house, and this long hallway goes out to the garage where the garage is, and the kitchen is there. And I just went in the kitchen and drank some water, and I heard something in the hallway. And I go, oh man, somebody's in my house, and I don't know
Oh no.
what is going on here. So I said, well, whatever it is, whoever it is,
You're ready to go.
it's got to come out the hallway. So I just put my back to the hallway like this. It just stood there in the dark.
Oh my gosh.
And so whatever it is, got to come out, right? And something grabbed me like this. I go, what? And I just, went down and
Yeah.
flipped it over, and I go,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
Ali. And it was Ali. I go,
Oh my
"Now."
gosh.
He started cussing me out, calling me all kind of bees and this and that. I go, oh, and I'm going, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, right over into another room and get ready to bash him. And I see it's him. I go, oh, no.
Oh, that's so funny.
And then he cusses me out, and I go, okay. And then he goes, how the hell did you do that? How did you do that? I go, I didn't know it was you. Well, you just flipped me over into another room. You flipped me over.
Oh gosh.
And I says, I thought you was somebody else. I thought somebody was. He said, how did you do that? The next day, we were supposed to have a meeting with Howard Cosell the next
Oh,
day,
wow.
right?
Mhm.
And he calls Howard Cosell, says, man, I married a woman that can kick my ass. I
Oh,
said, you're
wow.
not supposed to tell people that. You're not supposed to tell. And he said, how did you do it? How did you do it? That guy was right. You know karate. He
Oh,
was
my
right.
gosh.
And I said, no, he wasn't.
Oh, that is so funny. That's great. But what do you think? What do you think about the martial art
My
mentality?
husband never carried a key to the house since.
Really?
Never. He said, I will let you know when I'm coming.
That is great.
Yeah.
Smart man.
Rings a bell.
Smart
and
man.
then
Yeah.
years later,
Yeah.
when he married Lonnie,
Mhm.
Lonnie calls me on the phone and says, how come Muhammad won't carry a key to the house? I
Oh,
said,
that's great.
ask him
So
that.
like you got to learn how to flip them.
You ask him that.
Oh, that is so
Don't call me
funny.
no more asking me them stupid questions. So what would you say?
So what do you think? So the martial art mentality. I noticed in boxing that fighters don't have a martial art mentality. It's a different kind of mentality when
Totally.
it's very different. I noticed so for myself personally, when I got into boxing, I felt like I had a martial art mentality. I think it was a little bit from my upbringing, and it was a respect and things like that. And I learned that when I got to know MMA fighters, they have the martial art mentality. I had trained by an American Top Team with some of the girls and stuff, and having gotten to know them, I'm like, wow, I think I have a bit of that. Not having done martial arts myself, just boxing. But talk a little bit about the mentality difference that you noticed in the martial art mentality that you had as opposed to what Ali had.
See, the thing of it is with the martial art mentality, it's all about discipline. The martial art mentality is more like a defensive fighting. You're not the aggressor. They have martial arts person that are the aggressor. And then you have the aggressive fighter, and you have the defensive fighter.
So it'd be like a boxer and a puncher.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but 95% of martial artists are defensive fighters. They're not the aggressor. Karo Yomo Kenyatta, he was an actor, and he was a aggressive fighter, and he would come after you. And he was a good friend of mine. We used to do longevity sit-ups all the time, and we should do 250 sit-ups to see how many, and I
And you
kind of
competed.
beat him. I beat him. I went up to 300.
Women have more
sit-ups.
endurance.
I would I went up to 300, and he said, "Ugh." He said, I'm not going to go that far.
Oh wow.
So Jomo Kenyatta, he played in a karate movie with Steve Saunders. And Steve Saunders was one of my coaches with that the same Jim Kelly and I went with Steve Saunders. And Steve Saunders was an excellent chief master. And I studied under Master Moses Powell out of New York City.
Oh okay.
Yeah, and that was after I worked out with Bruce Lee. He taught me a few Jet Chindu.
Oh wow.
That's the Chinese kung fu art. And that's totally different than
Oh, there's so many. It's really
the
fascinating.
Jet Chindu and the Taekwondo is totally different than the kung fu art. Totally different. Totally
Have you
different.
ever worked with like props with the martial art? Because I actually worked with Bruce Lee's goddaughter's husband in California.
Yeah.
I worked with
No
I worked with a katana.
No,
With a
no,
knife, and
no
they taught me all
props.
this stuff. That was
Only
pretty cool.
the spears. I forget the names of them. It's been so long. The spears that I worked with Chuck Norris in the
Oh,
film.
wow.
The
Okay.
Octagon.
So you were in.
I
So,
worked
yeah.
with. I was in that one.
Oh, that's
in that
awesome.
movie,
So what
yeah.
did you?
With
What
Chuck
did you?
Norris.
And you worked with. You had props there.
I had props there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like that's.
They
why-
gave me a sword, but I put it down and picked up my own.
Yeah.
You'll see it if you want to go to YouTube and you look up under Octagon Ninja Enforcer. My only scene, they picked out that particular scene that I did.
You know what I love about you? You're the Renaissance woman. And I relate to that so much in that people like it's funny, I was doing my taxes and I handed her all my 1099. She's like, "You do everything, don't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, pretty much."
That's
I'm like,
great.
"Yeah, pretty much." But I feel like as an entrepreneur and I feel like the kind of women that we are, you know, and it's like yeah, we can do anything. Like there's nothing really that can stop us. Like if they ask us, it's like, "Yeah, I can do it."
Yeah, but this is the thing. The karate was my first thing. I'm a cowgirl. You know, I write English and I
Oh,
write
wow.
Western. Those two. I drag race cars, quarter mile races. I'm a Ford fanatic. I deal just strictly Fords, Shelby Cobras. I'm an aviator. I fly planes. Cessnas, Beach Traps, and Bonanzas. I
Wow.
do fly an F-16s if the Blue Angels kind of geared me into that. So those are kind of things I like doing. all
Is
the
that adrenaline stuff?
I
you
like
think?
speed.
You
Yeah.
think a little bit?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
I mean, that's extreme. That's
now
awesome.
I'm on the board. You remember the movie Straight Outta Compton?
Of course.
A lot of people don't know that in Compton, there's an airport in Compton.
Is there really?
Yeah, so the brothers, they want to get high. I'll show them how to get high. I take them up and flip the plane over, a
Wow.
360 on them, which is the best high in the world. It's the
Oh,
best
wow.
adrenaline
Oh, I can
you
imagine.
can flip. Because I went to Islamabad, Pakistan, and went up and did my first 360s
Wow.
in Pakistan.
Wow.
And that is the best to flip a plane over and
Oh, I
look
can't
up
imagine.
and see the ground up.
That's amazing.
That's when you see the ground up.
Yeah.
When it's up.
But
and
that's like, I
and
mean,
you
roller
flip it
coaster
over, it's-
rides.
You stay high for like a week. You
Oh,
come
wow.
down, you still feel high.
That's
so if the
I
brothers
mean,
want to get high, I'll show
that's
them.
it.
You don't
That's
need
how
no
high they
weed
get.
to do it.
That's it. Oh my gosh, that's
so
crazy.
it's a big rush. It's the greatest feeling. And now I'm on the board of Fly Compton Airlines.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean Airport, where we teach the brothers and the sisters how to fly.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm on
That's
the board
amazing.
there. Yeah,
Oh, that's great.
it's
So
called
what
Fly
other?
Compton. Okay.
Oh, and then what? That's it. We're over. Like, oh, okay.
So, Tell me
yeah.
about your next fight. I want to know about your next fight coming
in
up.
under a minute. April 21st. I will
April
be
21st.
getting back to the ring.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been
and
2
it's
years.
going to be in Houston.
It'll be in Houston.
Okay.
Roy Foreman is doing
George Foreman's brother.
George Foreman's brother
He's
is going to
promote the
he's
fight.
Gonna promote the fight. We're going to partner with him, and it's such an honor because I've met George and. Oh, now we got to say goodbye.
See you at the fight.
Till next time.
God bless you. Champ of the world, Maureen.
This has been Tell Us Your Business, where a special guest comes on every week and tells us what they do. All shows can be seen on amp2.tv, and if you wish to be a guest, call 866-224-5422 and tell us about your business. That's 866-224-5422. This has been an AMP2